Hey everybody, Retrofied here. Today we're talking about the biggest news from today's Direct. Tomodachi Life, living the dream. Now, if you're like me, you've loved Tomodachi Life. Tomodachi Life was probably one of my favorite games on the 3DS, if not my favorite. So having a sequel come out all these years later, which I believe it will be 12 years whenever it comes out, really does just make me happy, I guess. And it probably makes you guys happy too. But today I just wanted to analyze this trailer a bit and analyze basically what this means for the Switch 2's first year and just what this means really for the Switch 2. Alright, so before we start, if you like Tomodachi Life and are excited for the Switch 2, I'm going to be making a bunch of videos about Tomodachi Life and the Switch 2 in the next couple months before its release. So if you want to see more of those, just subscribe and turn the bell on for more videos like this soon. Alright, so starting out the trailer, we got the Nintendo Switch logo, and I guess they're not going to start putting in the new Nintendo Switch 2 logo where it snaps on the side instead of just sliding down in for a while. But it opens on a beach with some palm trees, and whenever you first see this, you think, oh, maybe it's Animal Crossing, or maybe it's some farming simulator. But it pans over to a Mii, which is laying out on the beach. And this is definitely something new for Tomodachi Life, as in the original game, the Miis aren't just everywhere. They normally are in set places, and you can click on the beach or you click on the park and you'll see your Mii there, but normally they're not just out and about. So then the shot changes over to what I assume is a kind of a boardwalk or a pier area with three Miis, two of which are talking on a bench, and one walking in the background, and you can see there's a lot of flowers and the buildings look really nice, and the shot that it's in too also kind of makes me think that it's going to be some free cam and you can look all over the island, and it's not just where you click on a building and look inside. And there are butterflies flying around, which really adds kind of to the just scenery of this game where there's so much more stuff, and it really shows that this is definitely a next-gen game. This is probably not footage on the Switch, so for the Switch 2 this looks really good. And the first thing I also noticed with this is their hairs look a lot different than regular Mii hair, but I'll talk about that more later. So the shot changes to four Miis jumping up and down, and you can see this too, their hair looks completely different than regular Miis. But before we start looking at them, let's look at the surrounding areas. So what's left to the Miis looks like it's a diner, which if you played Tomodachi Life 1, then you know there is a diner in there where Miis can go and socialize. So maybe this is a return of that with the girls and the boys hangouts that used to be in the diner in the first game. And then there's a yellow building with an orange door to the side, which if you look later in the trailer, those look like houses, so I assume that this is a house right here. And in the background we got a lighthouse, which I believe that's different. I don't believe that there was a lighthouse in Tomodachi Life 1. But then if you look in the background, there's a city with a bridge and a bunch of skyscrapers, which kind of looks like New York City, but it most likely isn't. And this is definitely different for Tomodachi Life, as you don't see any of the surrounding area in the game. It's just the island, and that's it. So going to the Miis, they definitely look different. These aren't your old Wii Miis, or even they don't even look like the 3DS Miis, or even the Switch. The Switch had nicer looking Miis, but it was still the same hair and same facial features that the original Miis had all the way back in 2006. So if you look at this shot and you look in the background, you can see the same diner that was there in the previous shot, but you don't see that yellow house there, or even the area where the Miis were standing, which makes me think that the island is a full sandbox and you can customize your own island to how you want instead of just unlocking buildings. I think that you might be able to unlock a building and it'll say, oh, where do you want to place this building? Instead of just having a set map for every single save. So looking at the Mii, you can see their clothing is a lot different than the first game, but it still is reminiscent of the outfits in the game. Now looking at the eyes, it looks to be different eyes than the original Mii. You can see that there's a bit of makeup on top, which normally the makeup in the original Mii creator didn't ever look like that. And also the way these Miis were made definitely looks different than the pre-made Miis from games like Wii Sports or Wii Party. And again, with the hair, it all looks different. So the next shot we see 5 Miis with a bunch of different outfits. These are definitely more modern outfits than what was in the 2013 game. And it almost looks like these outfits could be customizable, like you can interchange the shirt and pants instead of just having the outfit from the shop as it is. And we can see that these Miis are all gathered around this one central Mii dancing, which never really happened unless there were some events, like some daily set events, say in the where the water fountain was. But stuff like this where the Miis are just out and about doing things never really happened in the original game. So next we see some Miis fighting outside of houses. These fights look just like the ones that were in Tomodachi Life, with better graphics obviously. And one thing that I haven't mentioned throughout this whole trailer is the Miis look cel shaded, which originally they didn't. And I guess this kind of adds to Nintendo's way of having not that great graphics look amazing with stylization. So next the shot changes over to what looks like kind of the edge of the island with these fences here with 3 Miis, one walking in the background, one sleeping, and then one working out. And like I said, this is also really different. Miis are just out and about. So now with this last shot, you can see all these buildings, and this one says right price with kind of a lawyer wait thing. So could this be a law office? We don't know yet. And then you have quick build, and this is very different because we never had a building in Tomodachi Life. So maybe here you can buy new buildings to put in your island. And we have Fresh Kingdom, which looks to be a grocery store. And there was a grocery store in the original Tomodachi Life, but could this mean that maybe you buy groceries for your Miis and they actually cook inside of their apartments or houses? And then we have the news tower, which if you played the original Tomodachi Life, you know the news tower. Every day if you clicked on it, it would have a different random story involving your Miis, and it would also play a story whenever some new milestone was reached.
This is Miis for the 31st of July, 2018. Reports are coming in from all over the island about a runaway bus stop. This bus stop makes it almost impossible to catch a bus.
So then we have a little plaza area where there are a couple seats and more Miis walking around. And then it looks like this is a clothing store where it says where and where. Now again, with the similar buildings from Tomodachi Life, there was a clothing store in Tomodachi Life. But all these stores are very different than what they looked like in Tomodachi Life. And then we have TNC Reno, which looks to be kind of like the interior store that was in Tomodachi Life 1, which if you played that game, you know that there were set interiors. It looks like there's a lot of furniture in here, which makes me think that you will be able to customize your own interior rather than only having a set couple options. And again, you can see all these different house colors, but they all look like the same house. And in Tomodachi Life 1, you know that there was a big apartment building that all your Miis lived in, and then if they got married, they moved into the houses. And with this shot of the island, it almost looks like you won't be able to customize it, and this is just how it looks. But like I said earlier, it does look like the map will be customizable. And then we get the title, Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. And there's some green squares right here which kind of remind me of Street Pass, but I'm not going to get into that yet. So the logo of the Tomodachi Life looks a lot like the European version or even Tomodachi Collection's logo. And the title Living the Dream doesn't really reveal anything about the game, but it could mean that this is more of a vacation island rather than an island where they live. And then it says 2026. Now we know that the Switch is coming out in 2025, most likely in the summer of 25. So for it to say 2026 kinda sucks, but hopefully it will be an earlier time in 2026. And then the last scene of this trailer shows a dream sequence. And if you remember Tomodachi Life 1, there were a lot of dreams. If you clicked on a Mii's apartment at night when they were sleeping, you could see a dream, or even when they were taking a nap in their apartment sometime throughout the day, you can see a bunch of different dreams. And I guess this confirms that that's coming back. And one thing that I haven't mentioned throughout this trailer is they have the robotic voices still.
I'm a buckle. Tornadoes off on G+ than yesterday.
Which isn't a huge thing, but it was very funny in Tomodachi Life 1 with all these Mii's super robotic voice that you could kind of change a little bit, but it was normally just the same type of voice. So now that the trailer is done, I want to talk about what this means for the Switch 2. So first off, like I was saying earlier, the Mii's look a lot different. They look a lot more customizable. Not to the degree of Miitopia. If you played that on the Switch, they had all these makeup options and people can make completely crazy looking Mii's. But it doesn't look like they have any of those options in here that we know of yet. And I kind of hope that they don't have those in it, because it would make the Mii's too complicated. And you know, if you wanted a Mii to look like Link, without the makeup options, it would kind of look weird. So what I mean with the Mii's looking different is that this could be really, really big for the Switch 2. If they are overhauling what the Mii's look like, it might mean that the Mii's have a bigger presence in the Switch 2. And what I mean by this is that unlike in the Switch 1 where you only can access your Mii's with the settings app, I think the Switch 2 will be much more involved with Mii's, like how the Wii and the 3DS was, where you have these applications that actually use the Mii's in so many different games and different just system settings, where your Mii it's really you, and it shows that you own this system and you can just see yourself in your system. It's really nice. But also for Tomodachi Life, which is a game that's always been about Mii's, to be releasing on a new system that we don't know anything about really does, I think, solidify the fact that Mii's are probably going to be a pretty big thing on the Switch 2. Now, I'm not saying that Street Pass is coming back, which hopefully it is, but this could still mean that we could get more games with kind of like how Switch Sports was, where it had the Mii's in it, but you can make your own character. So maybe we could get more games like Wii Party, Wii Music, Wii Play. We can get more games like that on the Switch 2 since we have such a bigger emphasis on the Mii's. Because like I said, all these hair options and new face options wouldn't just be really made for Tomodachi Life, because they don't want the Tomodachi Life Mii's to not look anything like the regular Mii's. And I think we are really due for a new Mii design, since the Mii's were made in 2006, which was 19 years ago. The original Mii's from Wii Sports are almost old enough to buy alcohol. So I think the main thing about this trailer to take away from it is, yes, we are getting Tomodachi Life 2, which I am so excited for. I've been wanting Tomodachi Life 2 in a direct for over 5 years probably. But the main thing is that Mii's are coming back, and hopefully we'll see something about this in the Switch 2 Direct, which is coming up next Wednesday on the 2nd. But this trailer coming out in this Direct really does show that we are getting Mii's as a bigger presence in the Switch 2. Alright, so wrapping up, I really hope you guys did like this quick video about the Switch 2 and about Tomodachi Life living the dream. I've always loved Tomodachi Life. I really do want to start a new playthrough of it and maybe record it on the channel. So if you guys would like to see that, then just leave it in the comments below, because I do want to start uploading some gaming videos on this channel a little bit. And also something about the channel, I know I haven't uploaded in a good couple months, and I'm very sorry about that. I kind of ran out of ideas for videos and was kind of losing motivation, but I've been recording a bunch of scripts recently, and working on a bunch of videos recently, so hopefully I'll have a lot more videos coming out soon, especially with the Switch 2 coming out and the Direct happening next week and Tomodachi Life 2. Hopefully we get more trailers and more info about it next week. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you hopefully next week after the Direct.